The era of endlessly copy-pasting text from a chatbot into a document is quietly over. Beat.
Right. And Gemini Workspace doesn't just chat anymore. It actually builds your files.
So welcome to today's deep dive. If you've been losing hours to, well, formatting slides or crunching messy receipts, you really need to pay attention.
Yeah, the underlying mechanics of your daily workflow just fundamentally shifted.
We're unpacking a complete restructuring of how work actually gets done.
Today, we're tracking this entirely new workflow. We move from generating raw docs to crunching those messy receipts into interactive dashboards.
Wow, okay.
We will even cover pulling fresh reports from your existing Drive data.
Think of the old AI models like a helpful librarian. They hand you a massive stack of books, but you still have to do the reading, the synthesizing, and the writing yourself.
Exactly. The AI provided the raw material, but you still performed all the manual labor.
But the new Gemini Workspace acts entirely differently. It's more like a skilled sous chef. It preps the meal, it plates the food, it hands you the finished dish. Beat. Okay, let's unpack this core update.
The massive shift here is all about tangible output. Gemini now generates real files directly from the chat box.
So we're talking full files.
Yeah, we are talking Google Docs, Sheets, and slide decks. It outputs Excel, CSV, PDF, and Markdown.
And it provides live links straight into your Google Drive, right?
Yep. And the funny thing is, the visual interface of the chat hasn't really changed much. Most casual users will probably not even notice this capability at first glance.
But the architecture underneath is a totally different beast.
Oh, absolutely. To see it in action, you use a starter prompt approach. You might type something like, research top 5 trends in AI agents for small business in 2026.
Right, and in the old system, you just get a wall of text.
Exactly. But now, you add strict formatting instructions to that same prompt. You tell it, create a Google Doc called AI Agents for SMB 2026.
Oh.
You specify, use H2 headings, short sections, and one-line summaries.
It's like stacking Lego blocks of data. You tell it what shape to build, and it hands you the finished structure, not just the raw plastic. Beat. Creating that structure saves massive cognitive load.
Spot on. It creates a real Google Doc instantly. And you get a sleek file preview card right inside the chat window.
Which prevents you from opening dozens of useless browser tabs.
Right. You check the work before you ever leave the chat.
The sources actually outline a few other practical examples for this, don't they?
Yeah, like you can ask it to compare CRM pricing for a 3-person team, looking at HubSpot, Pipedrive, and Zoho.
Or you can ask it to summarize raw Reddit reviews of a product, like Notion AI.
Exactly. It parses the complaints and praises into a clean 2-section document. The core pattern remains the same across any task.
You tell it what to research, you tell it what specific file to make, and you tell it exactly how to lay it out. Beat. But wait, does the AI automatically organize these new files into specific Drive folders, or does it just dump them?
Well, it saves them directly to your Drive storage. But you do have to be careful here. It just drops them into the main directory. You must manually organize the final destination into your specific project folders.
So it drops them in your root folder? Keep an eye on that. Beat.
Yeah, you definitely want to keep an eye on it. But creating the raw file is really only the first step.
Right.
Fixing the boring parts is where the actual time savings compound.
We transition from generation into surgical editing.
We move from the chat window directly into the Google Doc itself. There's a new Gemini sidebar sitting right inside Docs.
Okay.
The philosophy here is one fix at a time versus a full rewrite.
I have to admit, I still wrestle with rewriting the same intro 3 times myself. 2-sec silence. It's hard to let go.
Oh, it is a difficult psychological barrier to break.
Right.
But the sidebar fundamentally changes the anxiety of editing. A full rewrite feels destructive.
But a surgical tweak feels incredibly safe.
Exactly. You use a multi-layered prompt to control this process.
Okay, walk me through it.
The source material provides a brilliant example of this technique. You highlight a dense block of text in your document, right? And you give the AI 3 highly specific jobs to execute simultaneously.
First is the hook. You tell it to shop in the headline. You instruct it to strip away all the corporate jargon.
Right. Second is the structure. You ask it to convert a dense, unreadable paragraph into a clean, bulleted list.
Which makes the document vastly better for visual scanning.
Yes. Third is the founder filter. You tell it to rewrite the conclusion into a single, punchy sentence.
Oh, nice.
You force it to emphasize the return on investment clearly.
And it executes all 3 commands in one single sweep.
Beat. Crucially, it renders a preview first.
So you review and approve the specific changes before they lock into the document.
Exactly. You maintain absolute control over the final wording.
What happens if you reject an edit? Does the AI lose the thread of the conversation entirely?
No, it retains the full context of what you were working on. The memory is persistent. You simply ask for a slightly different tweak or adjust your wording.
It remembers the context. You just try a different angle on the text. Beat.
We now have a completely polished document. The next logical hurdle is presenting this information to a live audience.
We need to bridge this doc into a slide deck. Beat.
Yeah, and you do this without starting over from scratch. You navigate back to the Gemini chat interface.
Okay.
You ask it to turn that exact doc content into a presentation.
So it builds the conceptual slides inside the chat first?
It does. You review the outline, then hit export to Google Slides. But there is a major structural catch you must understand here. You have to use a very strict formatting prompt.
You must heavily constrain the AI's output.
You have to dictate the exact parameters.
Yeah.
Create a 10-slide presentation. Use one main idea per slide.
Right.
You must explicitly command it. Keep text short like a real keynote, not a wall of words.
Because if you fail to constrain it, the output is useless.
Completely useless. It defaults to dumping full, dense paragraphs onto the slides.
Yeah.
The result is unreadable for an audience.
So you must enforce visual brevity from the very beginning.
Exactly. But there's also a fascinating trick for speaker notes here.
Oh, really? Beat.
Incorporating speaker notes changes the entire game. In that same structural prompt, you request speaker notes for every slide.
Okay.
You command it to use a casual spoken tone.
Like you ask for roughly 60 words per slide.
Instantly, you generate a visual presentation and a spoken script. It eliminates the hardest part of preparing for a meeting.
But what about the actual visual quality? Does it design a beautiful deck or just format the raw text?
The initial layout is exceptionally basic. It merely maps the text onto the individual slides.
Oh, I see.
Once you export to Google Slides, you use the Enhance This Slide button to actually style the visuals.
Right. Nail the content first, then export to slides to fix the visuals.
Exactly.
Well, we've seen how the system handles creative writing and slide formatting. But business relies heavily on messy reality. We will explore how it digests raw, unformatted data right after this.
Insert sponsor read here.
Okay, let's pivot to hard data. We're moving away from clean text to dealing with messy, chaotic inputs.
Beat.
This is where the technology gets intensely practical. Consider the standard client trip workflow.
Oh, yeah, the worst part of any trip.
You return from a trip with 8 crumpled receipt images.
The text is faded and the formatting is completely inconsistent.
You upload those 8 raw images directly into the chat box. Then you deliver a highly structured command.
Like what?
Create an Excel file. Include columns for date, vendor, category, amount in USD, payment method, and notes.
You even ask it to calculate a totals row.
Yes, you command a totals row, and you name the file Client Trip Expenses March.
Wow.
It does not just extract text. It semantically maps an Uber receipt to the transportation category automatically.
The format flexibility here is genuinely surprising. Beat.
It really is. You can ask for the output in Excel. Then you can switch and ask for a CSV file.
Okay.
Then you request a Google Sheets version. It maps the exact same data into 3 different architectures perfectly. You just download the specific format your accounting team requires. Beat. But looking at a spreadsheet is rarely the final goal.
Right, and we need to transition to the Canvas dashboard feature. This transforms how we visualize dense, boring spreadsheets.
You just click the Create Canvas button.
You use a specific prompt to render a visual dashboard instantly. You ask for total spend.
Okay.
You request a pie chart for the specific categories. You demand a bar chart showing spend by day.
And you ask it to isolate the top 3 vendors.
Whoa. Imagine turning a folder of crumpled receipts into an interactive dashboard in a single breath.
That is why.
The AI dynamically maps your spreadsheet columns to visual graphing scripts right in the background.
So it literally renders a live dashboard from crumpled paper. Beat. But what about data integrity? Can it misread a blurry tip amount on a receipt?
Oh, that is the hidden danger of automation. Fast is absolutely not always right.
Right.
It can easily hallucinate handwriting or a smudged decimal point. You must manually check the raw numbers against the physical receipts.
Yeah, the AI is fast, but you still have to verify the raw numbers. Beat.
Always. We have handled uploading entirely new data. Now we must discuss leveraging the vast amount of data already sitting inside your Google Drive.
So we are extracting new value from old existing files.
Right.
Beat.
Exactly. We are taking historical data and formatting it for entirely different audiences.
Because sometimes you format for humans and sometimes you format for machines.
Let's unpack the Q1 2026 marketing spend example from the sources.
Sure.
You ask Gemini to locate an existing sheet buried in your drive.
You do not even upload it.
Nope. You simply name the file in the chat prompt.
You ask it to extract a brand new PDF report.
Yes. You pull specific insights from that massive existing sheet. You request total spend. You ask for ROI broken down by channel.
Right.
You require pie charts. Finally, you prompt it to write the analysis for a CEO who has 5 minutes.
And the original source sheet remains completely untouched and safe.
Beat. Totally safe.
Yeah.
And you can execute this extraction rapidly across different departments.
Like pulling from a customer feedback Q1 doc to identify complaint themes.
Yeah. Or you query your sales pipeline March sheet to flag at-risk deals instantly.
It builds a fresh, highly targeted PDF deliverable every single time.
That workflow is designed specifically for human executives. But we also need to address the Markdown feature.
The Markdown file format, the .md extension, beat.
This is a massive, quietly revolutionary addition. It is built specifically for AI coding tools, autonomous agents, and internal wikis like Obsidian or Notion.
For those who might not know, Markdown is plain text that strips visual clutter so computers can read it easily.
That is the perfect definition. It removes all the heavy formatting noise. The source material highlights a great prompt for this exact use case.
Research running effective stand-up meetings for a remote team.
Create a Markdown file using H2 sections. You tell it to name the file standupguide.md.
And it generates clean, pure code.
You just download it and drop it straight into your company's AI system.
Why wouldn't you just feed an AI agent a regular PDF instead of bothering with Markdown?
Because PDFs contain a massive amount of hidden formatting code behind the scenes.
Ah, I see.
This hidden structure heavily confuses AI agents. Markdown provides completely clean, uncorrupted context for them to read.
PDFs have hidden formatting junk. Markdown is pure data for the machine. Beat.
We do need to ground this enthusiasm with a serious reality check, though. There are significant friction points.
Every new system has hidden limitations. Beat.
We must discuss how you actually test this safely today. There are 4 critical limits you absolutely need to understand.
Okay.
First is the drive edit issue. When you edit an existing file, the AI often creates duplicate V2 copies.
It does not overwrite the original document.
It creates a brand new copy instead. If you do this frequently, it clutters up your project folders incredibly quickly.
Is the V2 copy issue actually a feature disguised as a bug? Like automatic version control?
It certainly acts like forced version control. It fundamentally protects your original file from accidental deletion. But it will absolutely create an unmanageable mess in your drive if you don't actively clean it up.
It's version control, but it definitely clutters your drive if you aren't careful.
Yeah.
Beat. What is the second major limitation?
Native PPTX export for PowerPoint is currently broken, or at least it is highly unreliable. It frequently outputs raw Markdown code or weird side panel slides instead of a clean deck.
The workaround is to always export to Google Slides first.
Only attempt to download a PowerPoint file after the slides version is clean.
Okay.
The third limitation involves feature availability. What you actually see depends heavily on your specific enterprise Google plan.
Not everyone have access to the docs sidebar yet. Beat. And finally, we must address the hallucination problem.
The AI will confidently invent false information. Numbers can be slightly off. Chart axes can be completely flipped on your dashboard.
Wow.
You must treat every single output as a rough draft, never a final product.
So how do we put this entire workflow to the test?
The sources outline a brilliant power half-hour strategy. It is a beginner stress test you can try today.
Okay.
You aim to execute 5 specific tasks in 30 minutes.
This sounds less like a casual workflow and more like a deliberate stress test.
You want to push the system until it breaks. 1, research a broad topic and generate a doc. 2, use the sidebar to surgically edit that specific doc.
3, convert that exact doc into a slide presentation.
4, process physical receipt photos into an Excel sheet.
5, pull a targeted PDF report from an existing Drive sheet.
You generate 6 distinct files in roughly 30 minutes.
It reveals exactly where the AI excels and where you desperately need human oversight. Let's recap the big idea here.
The fundamental takeaway is a shift in proximity. Gemini Workspace is no longer just a chatbot floating in a separate browser window.
It is an active coworker meeting you exactly where your work already lives.
Exactly. It integrates directly into the fabric of your daily output.
Right?
Don't wait for this to become standard practice. Pick one exceptionally boring task this week.
Take a mundane weekly report.
Take a tedious expense file. Let the system do the heavy lifting.
Spot exactly where it saves you hours of baseline effort, and spot exactly where you still need to intervene with human judgment.
The friction of creating digital files is rapidly approaching zero.
If an AI can instantly translate raw thoughts into perfectly formatted docs, sheets, and slides, does the skill of mastering Office software become entirely obsolete? 2-sec silence. What happens to the way we value work when formatting takes zero effort? Out to your own music.